Hello, everyone, and we're excited for another episode of Your Money, Your Purpose episode. It's the first one of the year, Brian. We're back. It's a brand new year, so it's a great time of year to kind of really talk about the topic that we're going to be talking about today, and that's really We're going to be talking about limiting beliefs, but the reason that we're talking about this today is because we're also very excited to announce that we are going to be doing our very first masterclass this year. It's gonna be later this month, and so the information on that will be in the comments of this podcast. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you register, because even if you can't be there live with us, you will get a copy of the recording. And so the title of this masterclass is How Women Can Own Their Money Story and Build Wealth. And one of the things that holds people back is the limiting beliefs that we have about money, right? We all have them. We all run into them. And so today is going to be a very fun episode, because we're actually going to give you a sneak peek into our masterclass, right? So obviously, we're going to go way more in depth on how to, uncover your money story, how to think about your beliefs. I think that, Brian, mentioned while we were, coming up with this idea that just because you have a belief about money doesn't make it necessarily a limiting belief yet. We need to question whether or not does that belief serve us first. And then if it doesn't, then we can then label it as a limiting belief. And so we're going to take you through that process in that masterclass. But today, like I said, we're just going to give you a little sneak peek of, all right, this is the limiting belief. How do we quickly reframe this so that it becomes something that we can use in order to rewrite our story? So, but before we get into all that, Brian, how are you doing? How's your new year been? Are you excited about this masterclass?
I am, Billy. And one of the things, I think that the timing of this couldn't be better, for this masterclass, because did you know what last Friday was?
I do, but I won't steal your thunder. So go ahead and tell everybody.
So last Friday was National Quitters Day, and it's the second Friday of the year, and it's when most people who make New Year's resolutions, they give up on them, and they just decide that this year's not for me. I'll try again next year. And, thinking about that is, people want to improve. And generally speaking, it's not a blanket statement. It doesn't apply to everybody. But generally speaking, when somebody wants to change or improve an area of their lives, it's not because a lack of desire. It's because a lack of belief, or it's because of a limiting belief holds them back, and they just, as much as they tell themselves, I can do it, they really don't believe it. So I think that, talking about this now at the beginning of the year, when people are thinking about, okay, last year is done, whether it was good or maybe it wasn't as good as what somebody wanted, they didn't, make as much progress in some area that they wanted to make. It doesn't matter. That's the past, and they're looking forward now. And I think taking the time to examine, what is it that we believe about our own story? And, in particular, we're talking about, somebody's money story, but then what are those beliefs? And like you said, not all beliefs are limiting, but there may be some. And are they holding somebody back from either seeking out the knowledge they need to move forward or taking action? Even if they have the knowledge, they might not be taking action because of that limiting belief. So I'm excited today to, again, give a sneak preview of just a part of the masterclass. And we're actually gonna walk through this today. And I think it's a great exercise that somebody can do in all areas of their life, not just with their money story, but obviously our podcast is Your Money, Your Purpose. So that's kind of what we're applying it to. But I don't want people to think that this process we're going to walk through is limited to just your beliefs about money, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. This is something that you could take in. A lot of people make, wellness goals, trying to lose weight. So there's, that limiting belief, right? Is like, the best way to describe it is like, you think about your computer, right? And if you know me, I talk a lot of in analogy format. That's just the way my brain works. And you think about your computer, for instance, right? And when it's brand new, it runs perfect, Brian, right? It runs super fast. It's super clean. But what happens over time? You start to download programs, different things get opened up, and those programs begin to slow down your computer, right? They tend to bog down your computer. And that's kind of what your limit, like, and you don't realize it, right? You don't realize all these programs are running. And then you get in there, you look at all these programs, you're like, man, I got to cut some of these things out because it's slowing down my computer. And if you don't do that with your own thoughts, your own beliefs, right? Those are like programs that are just constantly running in your head that could be holding you back and you're not even knowing that's happening. So, what we're doing, yes, we're talking about how to reframe our limiting beliefs, but we're also talking about, which is very important, is bringing awareness to our beliefs, right? And that's what we were talking about before. Not all beliefs are bad, right? Some are good, some serve us, some don't. So that's what, when you go through the masterclass, that's one of the things that we're going to uncover. But today, what we're really talking about is how, once we find that limiting belief, how do we reframe that, right? So I don't know, Brian, should we just get right into it? Should we just get right into why the exercise, or should we talk a little bit more about why limiting beliefs can hold us back?
No, we're going to go more at that in the masterclass. I think what would be good right now is if we just, stated some beliefs about money. So I'll throw one out there, Billy, and you can tell me if you think it's negative or not. Money is the root of all evil. Yeah,
that is written everywhere, right? And it's it can be, it can be a limiting belief, because if you see it as always being evil, right, then you're going to associate everything. Like, I was talking to a person, they were like, money is materialistic, money is this, money is evil, right? And it's like, when you're having that thought, like, the first thing that comes to my mind is money isn't evil, because money is not a living, breathing thing. It cannot choose whether it's evil or good. Whatever energy we give money is what money will do, right? So if you give it good energy, it's going to do good things. If you give it bad energy, it's going to do bad things. And so maybe a reframe of that limiting belief would be like, money is the energy I give it.
Yep. So here's another one, and you just tell me if you know what your thoughts are. So money is a tool I can use to get the things that are important to me.
Now, Brian, that is a great belief about money. That is, I can tell that person, whoever wrote that, reframed a limiting belief they had about money, right? Would you agree that is a positive thought to gain control back? Instead of money having control over you, sounded like that person that money had control over them, and they're taking control back.
Yeah, it's kind of empowering. How about this one? I'm not good with money and with finances. I just don't understand it. I'm just not good with it.
Yeah, I think I've said that one a couple of times before in my past life, and it's definitely a limiting belief, because money to me is a skill, right? It's a skill that you can learn. You can always learn how to make money, how to invest money. Those are learnable skills. So in my book, that is a limiting belief.
All right, and let's do just one more, and then we'll get into the exercise. So how about this one? I'm blessed and have everything that I need.
Again, that sounds like somebody reframed their limiting belief, and I would say that is a positive belief about money.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So Billy, let's go ahead and take everybody through what it looks like to identify and really dig in, and then have some resources, some tools, some strategies to reframe a belief. So I think that you have a belief that we're going to work on today. So for this exercise, this is going to be like, I'm the coach or the advisor, and Billy is the client or participant who we're trying to uncover some of these things. So the first thing that I would be asking Billy are, Billy, what are some of your beliefs about money? And he may share more than one, but for our time here, Billy, let's try to focus on one that you already think maybe isn't serving you well. So let's start with that. So identify a belief that you have about money.
Yeah, and it's important, because before we get into this, it's important that we talk about somebody's past, because when we talk about the past, when it comes to money, that uncovers some of these limiting beliefs, because you might not be able to pinpoint it right away, but through that conversation about your history, right, your history with money can open up some of those doors. And so, Brian, a limiting belief I have about money, a limiting belief I have about money is that, Brian, I will never have enough money. That's why I work so hard, Brian. I will never have enough. I'm always feel like I'm behind. Like I gotta always be grinding and working, and I wish I could spend more time with my family, Brian, but I just feel like I don't have enough.
Okay, so the first thing that I would ask Billy is this limiting you? And obviously he's going to say yes, because we've already kind of started there. So the first thing that we're going to do as we examine this is we're going to examine the origin. So Billy, I'm just going to ask you some questions about that belief. Where do you think this belief came from? Did it come from personal experience? Was it something you heard growing up, or is it maybe coming from societal expectations?
Yeah, that's a great question, Brian. I think it's a combination of things, but the one thing that stands out to me is that my parents always argued about money, right? And I always felt, even though like we lived in a nice house and all these things, but it was, they were always fighting about money, and it just made me feel like we didn't have enough. And I was terrified that we were going to be, end up, on the streets, Brian. I felt like we were going to be, that we weren't going to have enough, that we weren't going to be able to, buy the toys that I wanted or have the food that I wanted. So I definitely remember my parents arguing about money, and made me feel like, it's never enough.
Okay, so really, it's you're fearful that that's going to repeat in your own life. So that's why you always feel like you have to work, you have to, continue to strive, but that's not how you want to live, and that's how it's limiting you. So now let's challenge the belief, Billy. I want to ask you this: is this a fact? So is this belief, I don't have enough, I'm never going to have enough? Is that a fact, or is it just a story that you've told yourself?
I think, Brian, it's a story that I'm telling myself, because I know I work hard. I know we have money in the bank. I know my family doesn't need more money, but it's a story that I keep telling myself, because for certain reasons I just don't feel like it's enough.
Okay, so now I want you to tell me, what evidence do you have that either supports that belief or disproves that belief?
Yeah, man, that gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? And I have a successful business. Our business makes good money. My wife is working from home. She was able to let go of her career, and she wanted to spend more time with the kids. And so we wanted to make that dream come true for her. And so, we have, plenty of money in the bank. And now that I'm thinking about it, like, we have what we need.
Okay. And is it a bad thing to still want to grow that, to give yourself a greater sense of security? Is that a bad thing to continue to work?
It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I definitely would like to know if I can work less to spend more time with my family. But it is not a bad thing to continue to grow, as long as I don't sacrifice other things.
Okay. And Billy, you're doing a great job with this. So now I want you to take that belief of, remember you said, I'm never going to have enough. I don't have enough and I'm never going to have enough. How can you reframe that belief? Tell yourself a different story so that it's serving you instead of hindering you.
Yeah, that's great. So if I were to write a limiting belief or rewrite this limiting belief that I never feel like I have enough, and Brian, you're going to have to help me here, but what I would say as my new belief is that I'm learning how to manage my money better so that I feel like I have enough, so that I can spend more time with my family. How's that?
I think that's great, because what you just said is it is a feeling. You disproved it by saying, we have money in the bank, a successful business, working from home. So you have all of this evidence that you have enough. It's the feeling that you don't have enough because of the experience that compounded over time from your growing up. And so reframing it, saying, I'm handling or managing my money in a way that I feel that I have enough and I'm spending more time or able to spend more time with my family. Billy, my last question is, telling yourself that story, is that serving you and empowering you, or is it holding you back?
I think it's empowering me, because I think it also comes down to I didn't feel like I had control, which probably led to me feeling like I don't have enough, because if I don't clearly define that, or I do not clearly have a path for, basically, because I'm managing my money better and I'm paying attention to it more in that sense of managing it well, gives me a sense of control. Like I have control over that, which then if I have control over that, I can then manipulate it to then spend more time with my family.
Okay. And the last step to this, so you're telling yourself a different story, but just doing it once. And we know this because last Friday was National Quitters Day. We can have the best intentions, but we can then fall back into our own mind traps that we're telling ourselves this negative story again. So my next question, and I can make some suggestions, is, Billy, what action are you going to take so that you're sure, or you ensure, that this new story is going to take root and the old story or old belief is going to be replaced with this new one?
Yeah. So one of the things that I would do in order to cement this new belief is by taking the action step of intentionally managing my money, not just stacking dollars in the bank account, but giving a purpose to where my money is going and what am I using it for, instead of just, like I said, just filling up the bank account.
Yeah. And one of the things that I would suggest that you do in addition to that is remind yourself of the evidence that you do have enough.
Yep.
That you have money in the bank, that you are able to spend time with family, that work from home, your business is successful. You've got to do that part as well, so that you're reminded that the things that are important to you, you have enough for the things that are important to you. And it's not bad to continue to want to grow that, to expand that, but not because of a fear, but because of, it's a tool. It's something that can provide more options, more opportunities, more experiences for those things that you want to do. But remember to remind yourself of that evidence that this is a limiting belief. It's not a fact, it's a limiting belief, and reframe it with that new belief that you're managing your money better and the evidence that you have for it.
Yeah. Wow. See, now that is a powerful exercise. And I mean, that took us all, but, obviously we're role playing, but 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why it's so important to that's why these other steps are really important in this process. Whether really calling out our past, right? I think that's something that we do in the masterclass. We teach you how to do that and how to uncover those things, because without uncovering those things, we don't know what your beliefs are yet about money. We can't question whether or not they are valid, whether there's truth there, whether they serve you, like Brian was saying. And so being able to take somebody through that journey and reframe their belief really can set someone free to accomplish things. I know personally that's the case for me, but to be able to accomplish things that were once holding us back. And then we look back, and Brian, how many times have you looked back at an obstacle and you're like, I really let that get in my way? Like now it seems so much smaller than it once was before.
And I agree. And once you surpass that once, you realize that you have the ability within you to get past it faster the next time. So just going through this exercise and identifying, that belief, identifying it as this is not serving me well, reframing it, and then doing something to cement it. Just knowing that you can do that, you can do it again. And it makes it easier to believe yourself that you can do it. And Billy, I'm excited for the masterclass. I'm excited for the people that do choose to work with us individually, because it is so fulfilling to see them and hear them come back and say, this is amazing. I never thought that I would have made this progress in my mindset. That it manifests in how they manage their money and, the peace that they have with it. But it's an incredible journey. And I'm just excited to invite more people into it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, like I said, it is the first step in become like, there'll probably be some people that watch this. They're like, man, I'm super successful. I make a lot of money. I don't have any limiting beliefs about money. And I would challenge you to look at your own money story first, and then let's ask the question, do I have any beliefs about money? Because there's always something, like I said, running in the background that we do not realize, that maybe subconsciously we've pushed down way so far that maybe you feel like, man, there's something there, but I don't know what it is. And I would just, I would encourage you to sign up for this class, right? I am Brian and I are a little biased, right? Because it is our master class, but I would, even if you don't feel that way, I would implore you to sign up for this master class, because it's free. First of all, it doesn't cost you anything except for your time, and explore at least your money story, because there could be something that you don't realize that could be holding you back. It could be a belief, and then we uncover that belief, and all of a sudden you were here in your business, and now maybe you're here, right? You're at a different level. Maybe you're spending more time with your family. Maybe you're volunteering more. Maybe, I don't know what is important to you. And that's one of the reasons why we do what we do, is to find out what's important to you. But long story short, I think this is a masterclass for anyone in any place of your money journey, whether you've made millions of dollars or whether you're just starting out. This is a really good tool, a really good skill to learn. And this is a skill. This is not something, you don't have to be some, psychologist to figure this out. This is something that you can do, relatively easy and overcome some of those limiting beliefs.
Yeah, and know that we're going to walk through it step by step. And there's a workbook that goes along with it where you'll be able to write things down. So it's not going to be just us talking. You're going to have, something, that you can print out and that you can write these things out and then, go from there. So I think it's going to be very, very beneficial. And we both promise. And again, Bill, you said we're biased. I believe we are, because we think that it's a lot of great information, but you will take away something with a better understanding of yourself, where you come from, in your money story, where you presently are, and where you want to be in the future. And I think all three of those are, I will say, equally important, so that your future is going in the direction you're making the progress that you want to make. And I would venture to say you'll make it faster because you've taken time to uncover these things in the past and the present.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. So yeah, join the masterclass. That link will be in the show notes here. It would also be a link in the comments where you can sign up. Like I said, it is free. Doesn't cost you anything, just a little bit of your time. So make sure you do that. We would love to have your feedback along with that. And hopefully maybe this sparked that little inner dialogue inside of you, that you now know that you have a money story and you know you have some beliefs about money and you just want to question whether or not they serve you or not. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want awareness around your thinking, around your money, so that you can make more intentional choices that are in alignment with what's important to you, so that you can live a more fulfilled life. That's the end goal, right? Whatever fulfilled life looks like for you, that's what you should be going after. So, but I'm getting off my soapbox now, Brian. We can we can save the rest for the masterclass.
Absolutely. And, it's the title of our podcast and our, newly formed business around this. It's about your money and your purpose. It's not one or the other. They're two parts to one person. And we want to be sure that we're helping people in both of those areas. So excited about it, Billy. Thank you so much for today.
Yeah. So make sure you guys sign up and we will see you real soon. We only have one episode this month because we're doing the masterclass. So you got to sign up for that if you want to get more of us, right? You want to see more of us. But we will be back to our regular schedule the following month. So enjoy the rest of your day. We will be talking to you soon. Have a good one. This podcast is for informational purposes only and reflects the personal opinions of the hosts, not the opinions of Terra Wealth. All content shared is general in nature and should not be considered recommendations. Please consult with a qualified advisor, tax professional, or an attorney before making any financial decisions. For full disclosures, please visit terrawealth.com/disclosures.